I feel a lot safer in Santa Barbara than I did like in, other parts of, places where I was staying. But I would literally prefer being in jail than like being, on the street. Lots of like suicide that are starting to crowd out every other thought in my mind.
I've been homeless off and on since I was a kid, since I was 17 years old. For one thing, I was a notorious pain in the butt.
Doing what?
Drinking, being on the street panhandling all the time, in and out of jail.
Yeah. Do you have any idea how many calls to service you've had with the police department?
No idea. I have no idea. 30, 40.
If I told you 54 since 1997, would you believe it?
That sounds about right.
Okay. And if I told you about 20 of those were medical assists, that included an ambulance and a trip to the emergency room, would you believe it?
Yeah. A very good thing. And it's been very much of a struggle for me because I've been homeless for a very long time, off and on for over 25 years. It's a next to impossible situation to deal with by yourself. You need help.
Restorative Court takes place here in Department 7 every Wednesday. The team has a core group of individuals who sit at this table from 10 to 11 discussing the status, progress, and needs of each client. They also discuss potential new clients and whether they're eligible and suitable for restorative court. Eligible clients are the chronic homeless with a long history of mental health issues, substance abuse issues, and often both occurring simultaneously. They have only minor offenses, things such as open containers, panhandling, drunk in public, urinating in public, but there's generally a lot of those citations, which result in a high number of calls for service from police, fire, and emergency medical responders. They are viewed as a nuisance to local businesses who are appealing to affluent vacationers during tough economic times. Commissioner Pauline Maxwell and Officer Keld Hove created Restorative Court in March of 2011. They recognized that something needed to change in order to address the emerging number of homeless people draining our police resources and clogging our court calendars. Our jails had become a revolving door for many of them who struggled with societal expectations due to their homelessness. Their presence sends a ripple through our entire community, from business owners to unsuspecting tourists who come to enjoy our beaches, restaurants, and retail businesses. Within a few months of Restorative Court's inception, the police department funded a second full-time restorative officer named Officer Craig Burley. Sitting next to Officer Hove is the public defender. Her job is to represent and advocate for the client. Other members include an attorney and homeless advocate. Also Tana, who is a discharge planner for homeless people in jail. And to the right is Mark, the director of the Salvation Army, where interim housing can be of huge benefit for people trying to lay a foundation for a new life. And this woman in the middle is Norma. She provides assessments completed for each client so that the team understands each client's history of mental and substance abuse. Restorative Court could not be successful without outreach specialists who provide one-on-one case management to our clients. And this is one of our 5 community service liaisons who provide uniformed, visible foot patrol to identify subjects engaged in nuisance-related crimes. At 11 o'clock, the court doors open, and each client is given an opportunity to check in with the court. They are required to follow their case management plan while remaining citation-free for 6 months in order to have their cases dismissed. This is not a punitive measure. Rather, it allows the team to have a homeless captive audience so that they can help them rebuild their lives through court orders and the resources available in Santa Barbara. Case management can be anything from buying somebody a bus ticket back home to their family to more complicated cases that involve detoxing, residential treatment, medical help, and filing for Social Security, with the ultimate goal of taking them from the streets and helping them find a place to call home. Restorative Court is a win for everybody. Our homeless people get the opportunity to manage their very complicated lives. The courts, the police, emergency responders, and jails can dedicate more time to serious crimes. And tax dollars can get spent on more important issues, and our local businesses can operate with fewer homeless interruptions.
What brought you to Santa Barbara?
I hitchhiked through from Montana, Seattle,
Okay.
San Luis Obispo, Lompoc. Here I stopped here. Oh, it's nice here. And me and Mello, because I used to hustle bus on LA. All the police know you, and you know all the police.
Right.
I'm used to LA hustle bus only.
Yeah.
One man a whole bunch.
You can hide easier in LA.
Kind of, it's the same couple over and over.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw out a number to you and tell me if this sounds right. Over your time in Santa Barbara, you've had 747 encounters with the police department.
Do I?
Yes.
Oh. Well, it's a little more than I thought, but oh.
Yeah.
Excuse me, joke-wise, anyway, my room is a square teepee.
Your room is what's going to keep you?
Square teepee.
It's a square teepee. Okay, that's a good analogy.
Pedro has had 289 encounters with law enforcement since 2009. He has been unsuccessful in several rehabilitative programs, and his age of 62 is making it more difficult for us to find treatment facilities willing to take him. As long as Pedro has the will to heal, we will maintain our drive to help him. He was transported to another program March 20th, 2012. How could anybody forget Sheila, the lady with the shopping cart outside Borders on State Street? Sheila would not allow me to video her, but I have to say I found her to be my most interesting interview. Sheila grew up in Santa Barbara, received a Bachelor of Arts in Art, was married for 20 years, and had 2 children and a good job selling patio furniture in Carmel. Her life started to unravel after a divorce, the loss of her job, and an underlying mental health concern. She describes herself as being in denial for 5 years while living on the streets. She simply thought that she was sort of in between jobs. She never really considered herself homeless. I am happy to report that today Sheila receives Social Security benefits and lives at Wilbridge, an affordable housing program for people with mental health issues. She's a talented knitter and asked me to share her beautiful sweaters in this story. Each sweater is very different in style, color, and purpose. They even have names. Each one is unique in their own right, and I'm wondering, I don't know, do they represent the fabric of our community? In Restorative Court, we recognize that every client is somebody's mother, father, sister, husband, son, daughter, and there is no one solution for all. We rely on many local and statewide agencies to provide services to our clients, and the reality is, there are always more clients than there are services and funding. But we're working to solve it, one client at a time.